Welcome to African News Roundup. Starting off this segment, after 1 month in captivity, 130 Nigerian school children abducted in Niger State have been released, said on Sunday by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's office. The children were among more than 300 people kidnapped from a Catholic boarding school in Papiri village on the 21st of November. Some managed to escape almost immediately and 100 others were freed earlier this month. 35 students and teachers are still unaccounted for. Authorities said further details will be communicated. This is one of Nigeria's worst mass kidnappings in recent years. The abduction put the spotlight on the worsening security situation in northern Nigeria, where armed gangs frequently target schools for ransom. Tinubu has been under pressure at home and from the president of US, Donald Trump, who has accused Nigeria of failing to protect Christians. Nigerian authorities do not usually say much about rescue efforts, and arrests are rare. Analysts say it's because ransoms are usually paid despite officials not admitting to it. Here is my analysis. The fact that dozens remain missing highlights the persistent insecurity in northern Nigeria and the continued vulnerability of schools. However, the government needs to deliver lasting security reforms beyond reactive rescue operations. Still on African news, Nairobi County has just made headlines with bold and controversial decision. Women working for the country are now entitled to 2 paid days off every month for menstrual health. The policy approved by the Nairobi City County government allows female employees to take time off during their period without touching their sick leave or annual leave. For women who suffer from severe cramps, migraines, fatigue, or conditions doctors group under dysmenorrhea, the policy is being hailed as a rare moment of empathy in the workplace. Globally, menstrual leave is still rare. Countries like Japan, South Korea, and Zambia have versions of it, but uptake and enforcement vary widely. In many places, women avoid using it altogether, afraid of stigma or backlash. That's why Nairobi's decision is being watched closely, not just in Kenya but across Africa. Could this inspire other countries to follow, or will it remain a symbolic policy with unintended consequences? Here's my analysis. The policy exposes tensions around gender equality as critics fear it would reinforce stereotypes or disadvantage women in hiring. Also, its success would depend on careful implementation that protects women's rights without deepening workplace bias. And finally, on African news, Ugandan police throw tear gas at crowd at the Bobi Wine campaign event. Footage shows security forces dispersing crowds with tear gas at rallies for Ugandan president candidate Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine, in Kampala. The pop star turned politician is campaigning ahead of Uganda's January 2026 elections as officials warn against interference. Here is my analysis. The use of tear gas against crowds at Bobi Wine's campaign events signals a continued pattern of state repression of opposition politics in Uganda, and it raises concern about the fairness of the 2026 elections and the shrinking space for peaceful political participation. All these news were gotten from African News and Al Jazeera Africa News. And that's all on this segment. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.